Adi, which one to? Nothing. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So, myself, Apurva. I'm here to talk about, I'm from Young Innovators Educational Services Private Limited, and I'm here to talk about the few courses that we offer and the kind of, we are basically to explain about the different kind of courses that we offer for different schools and colleges across Bangalore, across India, right? So, I'm sure all of us are doing online classes, our regular academics, and it's kind of sometimes the online classes, because of no school, because of the offline, there's no offline sessions, we do get bored sitting and watching online, and we're missing out the fun, isn't it, with the school, playing with our friends and doing some fun activities in the school and things like that. So, here we are to say that you will no more, or you need not miss the fun which you usually have it at your academics in your school, and we would like to keep though the things are online, and we would like to keep it more lively and offer some interesting activity based courses, so that you all can learn and also learn and have fun along with, based on your interest. Right. So, here I am going to talk about 3 courses. One is the Aeromodelling, 4 courses: Aeromodelling, Astronomy, Electronics and Robotics. Right. So, we at Young Innovators, what we do is we mainly focus on these 3 fields of the science, rather to say, and we create the customized curriculums for schools, for students of age group, for students of the age grade 5 and above. And we make our learning, we make the learning more fun and activity based, right. So, we provide a hands-on teaching methodology for all the childrens, wherein we try to put the basics, whatever we learn during our school days, like the physics or the mathematics, whatever we learn it, we try to put it into use by doing some activities. We give some application based courses, rather we can say. So, as you're doing this, as you're doing an activity, as you're learning or taking up this course, you will come across all the connectivity between the physics and maths that we take up that we learn during our school days. So, basically our activities are more of passion oriented, hobby oriented, like students who are interested in these hobbies, they take it, students who are passionate to learn about these, they take it, and students who are keen to learn something new and something hands on and something that they want to build on their own are the students who actually take up our courses, right. So, I'm going to quickly brief about the kind of courses that we do, so that you can choose, you can listen, and then you can opt for any of these courses with respect to your school. With respect to your school, right. So, firstly I will be talking about say aeromodelling, right. When I say aeromodelling, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? We think about planes, right, and all of us think about planes, and planes is something that has always fascinated us right from our childhood, isn't it? We love to see the planes, we love to say bye to the planes in the sky and things like that. And maximum, what is the thing that most of the people think of is we want to fly in a plane, we want to fly somewhere, we want to travel faster. That is when we think about plane. What about the things where we want to build a plane, right? What about the students who want to actually build a plane, right? So, there will be many students who would like to build and learn to fly and actually hold a plane in their hand and flight and experience this flying of the plane, isn't it? So, in our aeromodelling courses, what we do is we actually teach the basics of the aircrafts. When I say basics of aircrafts, when we say the plane, usually when we see the plane in the sky, it's not, we see a huge plane, that's the body of the plane, and the passengers, we know that the passengers are seated and pilots, they control the plane, and we see it. But actually, when we talk about aeromodelling, when we talk about the planes, there's a lot more to learn. Have you all seen different kinds of planes? I think most of us should have come across by now. We have seen so many like different jet planes, different fighter planes, different passenger planes. From country to country, the passenger planes also different, all of these things. But what I am here to present is, I want to talk to the students. I want to see how many students are interested in understanding the structure of the plane, in understanding what is the mechanics behind the plane, the principles behind building a plane, right? So our aeromodeling course is more targeted on that. What we do is we actually start from the basics of the plane. So basics of the plane includes how does a plane fly, how does a plane gets balanced by itself, right? How does it control? We see different parts on the plane, what are the functions of it, and how it gets controlled on its own, about that. And then we learn about different structures of the plane. It's very, very important. Every plane looks the same, but the body of the plane is very different, and it goes a lot into building the body of the plane, and it matters a lot because it has to be steady, it has to fly in the air, and it also depends on what it has to carry during its flight. So the structure of the plane, the building of the plane becomes very, 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 very important. Every point or every measurement of the plane becomes very important when we learn about the structures. And then we will be learning about the different kinds of plane and their purposes. We will be learning about the different flying techniques and the tricks, all of these things in the aeromodeling. So for an example, I'll just show you a simple plane. Here it is. I'm sure all of you are able to see it, right? So this is a very different plane, isn't it? It's unlike a normal passenger plane. You can see it has some additional features, right? So usually we see the plane structure like this, and we usually see the wings of the plane. And then we have we see something at the edges also in our regular planes, but this plane is slightly different. Can anyone identify which plane is this? Maybe you can put up in the chat box. We will say whether you're right or wrong. So this is a different plane. I want you all to mention me what this plane is and for what purpose it could be used. It's a fighter plane, jet planes, or the normal passenger planes, right? So in our aeromodeling course, what we do is, along with learning all the theory about the planes, like the principles and flight structures and all of that, we will be building planes also, right? Because it's a hands-on activity, it's something to do with the fun and learning. We will be building the planes, and this is part of your course, right? So what we are seeing here is a part of the course. The very first thing that you will be building is this plane. And why? And it's a static model. So that means you can use this as a showpiece. That means it can be a static model. Why do we do the static model? Is basically to understand the structure and the purposes of different parts of the plane. So during the first part of the course, when you are learning, you will be understanding what's the importance of wings, what's the importance of rudder, what is the importance of the shape of the plane, the fuselage, and all of these engines and all of that. And then we make this plane, and then you build this plane on your own. And once you learn all of that, then we will be learning about the structure of the plane. Have any one of you all seen the structure of the plane? I don't know, not many would have seen, definitely, because it's very difficult to see unless you are into building of the planes. So this is the structure of one of the planes, right? Can you see this is the wing structure? Of course, the covering of the wing is being made transparent so that you can see the structure of the plane. So every plane that we see in our real lives has a different structures or different skeleton of it inside the covering that we see. Whatever planes that we see, those are all the covered things of the plane, right? So inside that covered sheets, that you actually have the skeleton of the plane. So here is the wing structure. It's a length about 150 centimeters, right? And you can see there are different parts that has been put inside, and each of it has a different distances, which becomes very, very important. Did you ever wonder why these different structures are? Why they are placed at different distances? And I want you all to think, and please put a message in the chat box, we can discuss on it. So everything is placed at different distances, and it is very well tightly packed. And here we have the middle part of the plane. This is the plane whose wing length is about 150 centimeters. So once you build the structure of the plane, this is completely built, you will be learning about all these things. You will be learning about why it is placed at different distances, why these are made in these shapes only. You can make in different shapes also, which you will be learning in the class. But here for this wing, you will have these kind of structures, right? So you will be learning about this length of the plane, the structure of the wings of the plane, and things like that. And then comes the most important part, which keeps everything steady in the flight, is the fuselage. This is the body of the plane. Why does all the planes have this similar kind of a structure? Like, what do we call this? Streamline structure, right? All of the planes that we see, it usually comes like this. This is the body of the plane, and this is called as the fuselage, right? And as usual, you have two parts here. rudders and yaw, pitch. So this actually controls the plane, left, right, up, down, everything is controlled here. And this is the plane that you will be building during your course. And this plane is actually called as a chuck glider. If you notice, these planes does not have any engine as such, isn't it? That is because we can simply fly this plane. And don't think that this plane is not going to fly, you just have to keep it at home. No, this plane is something that you can fly in real. It's a real plane. It's a testing plane that you can say. Before you build the plane with some motors and engines, you have to make such planes and you have to analyze and study about the features of the plane. So this is a chuck glider where we will chuck it using the fingers. We just have to fly the plane. Of course, you have to fix the wing, you have to still complete this plane, and we just chuck it. And it can go up to a certain distance. And it's a real plane, it does fly. So such planes which does not have engines or motors, they are actually called as the chuck glider planes. And during the course of aeromodeling, you will be building this plane, whose length is about 150 centimeters, this one, and this static model plane. I haven't seen the name still, so please let me know what is the name of this plane, right? This is your aeromodeling course. And as you learn, you will be learning the theory, you will be doing the practical sessions also. Right? How are you going to do it? If it's offline, it will be at your school. If it's online, then what we will be doing it is, we will take the classes and we will be delivering all the kit materials either to your school or to your location. So you can receive the kit materials, and as you take up the online sessions, you can do the activity from your home itself or from wherever you are, right? So that's about the aeromodeling course. So now it's all done about flying of the planes, and usually flying is within Earth and within our atmosphere, within Earth, within our planet. Now we will go to the next interesting course, which is about astronomy. Right? And what is astronomy? When I say astronomy, it's all about space. So let's now move beyond our Earth, beyond our planet, and learn something about it, right? But we are not going to build rockets like in aeromodeling, how we build planes. We are not going to build rockets in astronomy, but we are going to learn a lot about in astronomy, like, of course, not planets, the stars and all that. That usually we learn it in the textbooks. But what you will learn more in astronomy will be like a little bit advanced. Like we will learn about how do people actually come to these calculations of eclipses, how do they calculate the sizes of the planets, how do they measure time, why is time so important, how can one predict the seasons looking at the stars. Of course, it's not astrology, but we will be learning everything in astronomy based. So we can actually try to point the position of the stars, point the position of the planets by knowing what are the coordinates that is used for it, all about that. And more importantly, why we will learn astronomy. Right? Can anyone say why we learn astronomy? I think astronomy is not that important because we don't have to bother about space, right? Why should we bother about something that's beyond planet, right? Is it only because of the aliens? Are we scared that someone might come from the space into our planet and that's the only reason that we have to bother about the space? I don't know, right? But what we learn in science when we actually study about all these things is we try to understand where we are from, right? And we try to understand for what reason are we on this planet? Why is this planet so special? Why are we so special on this planet? So as you learn astronomy or in our course, we will be trying to find out answers for all these questions. Importance of us, importance of our planet, importance of the life, and more importantly, how is Earth controlled in the space? How are we placed in the solar system? What is Milky Way galaxy? What do we see in the sky? Right? And also we will be learning about different astronomical techniques that was used in the ancient days, and we will be learning about solar system, galaxies, about moons, stars and things. But of course it sounds very much theoretical, but when you learn, what is more interesting and unique about our astronomy course is you will be getting more of kit materials and activities as you learn in this course. For example, let me talk about sun. We do have sessions on sun. When I talk about sun, we will learn about the layers of the sun, we learn about the distance of the sun, the eclipses that happens with respect to sun, everything. But how can we actually learn to measure it? Earlier or in ancient days, people used to measure all these things without any instrument. They used to just observe the shadows, they used to just use some geometry, use some mathematics, and they used to simply calculate or do all the calculations, isn't it? So what we have done is to make this more interesting and activity based. We have come up with few interesting models. For example, this is a solar projector. right? So you can see this, it has a mirror over here and you can place a sheet on this. So what is the purpose of the solar projector? We can actually project the image of the sun. You point this to the sun's light falls on the sheet, you will have a pinhole sheet over here. The sun's image will pass through, it will fall on any darker portion, it can be on a wall or a floor or any dark region, and then we can actually calculate the distance of the sun from earth. We can measure the size of the sun. Once you can measure the size, you can measure the distance, you can measure the other parameters of the sun like volume, like radius, or other things about the sun. So this simple activity kit can actually help us get almost all the information of the sun just by observing the shadow of the sun or the image of the sun, right? This is a solar projector kit. Now we have another interesting kit with this. This is with respect to time, right? I know what comes to your mind when you look at this. Please make guesses. What is this, right? So this is an interesting time device, I can say, right? When I say time device, yes, don't think about some time machines and all that. So this is a very simple time device, or you can say that ancient astronomers or ancient people actually use something like this to find out the time, to calculate the time. This is called a sundial because it uses the sun's shadow. The sun's shadow falls on this and you have the time which is measured inside, which is actually written on this on these dial plates. So once the shadow of the sun falls on it, then we can actually note the time. And there are certain small calculations that you have to do to match with the exact time that we have today. So can you imagine, earlier people had made these kind of devices and without any special instruments or tools, right? They made such natural sundials and they observed the time. And it's quite interesting for me to know that whatever I'm following it up in my daily days, like when I look at the days of the week, when I look at the months, when I look at the time, it has all come from the time the people have observed for many, many years, isn't it? Our days of the week are named after the planets. Our months has something to do with the stars, with the background stars of our planet or the moon. It is so interesting. Our festivals are being marked based on the face of the moon. So it gives me, I feel it's so interesting that people have done so much of observations with lots of patience, and this is not something that they have done for 1 year or 2 years. They have done it for many years before they could come to a conclusion, isn't it? Our seasons vary. So by the time the seasons vary, you can actually look at the stars, the constellation patterns in the sky, and you can talk about, or you can say which season would be the next. And we can predict any other celestial events that is also coming without again any instruments or the tools. So this is another interesting kit that we have, that is a sundial. And then to make our sessions a little bit infographic or informative, we have designed some special posters. So here I'll be showing only one poster. So this is a poster on the outer planets. You can see this poster has all the information that you want about outer planets and more about our solar system, right? So like this, we have many posters, like for inner planets, like for solar system, outer planets, for moon, and for galaxy, we have posters like this. All are very informative and it contains everything, one single poster with all the details about the object, right? And more is interesting in astronomy is the observation sessions. Of course, we don't have any offline sessions, so it will be difficult to conduct the observation sessions. I'm sure you must have seen your seniors, staying back in the school and doing with the telescopes, observing the telescopes, and few actually making the telescopes and carrying it. You all must have seen your seniors do it in the school, in the Carmel school, isn't it? So what we will be doing is, if things go fine, then we will have an online observational activity at the school, right? So what does this observational activity do? One is, we will be observing the moon, right? When I say moon, we see the moon, but we will be bringing a telescope which will make you see 12 times bigger than what you are actually seeing the moon through your naked eye. When I say 12 times bigger, you can actually see the surface of the moon, you can see the mountains on the moon, you can see the hills and the craters, the shadow of the craters on the moon, all of these things through a telescope. It looks so beautiful, it looks like as though it's very close to us, right? So we will be bringing a telescope, bigger telescopes, and we will be showing it to you all if it is an offline session, right? And then that's about the moon, and during that moon activity you will be learning about how do we map the moon surface. What is mapping the moon surface? When I say mapping the moon in a sense just like how we map the earth, like we have the coordinates, we say which continent, for country and all that, everything has its own position, isn't it? So like that we can actually map the surface of the moon. You can map the craters, you can map the location of the craters, measure the height of the craters and its shadow, all of these things. You can actually see the sun rays falling on one side of the moon through the telescope, all of these things in your observational session. And then one more interesting session is the overnight session, right? Overnight session is all about stars, it's all about planets, it's all about galaxies. Yes, you're hearing it right. So when we go, we will be traveling, we will be going out to a far place and we will set up the telescopes over there, we will be awake the entire night and we will be observing the stars. When I say stars, we will be learning about the constellations. How do we identify the constellations in the sky? How do we locate the planets? Not just locating, we will be observing the planet, like the rings of Saturn, the poles of Jupiter, the Mars, moons of the Mars and its moons. All of these things we will be observing through telescope. And also we will be seeing our neighboring galaxies, because when the skies are clear, you can see much better, you can get more information from the sky if the sky is clear through the telescope, right? All of these things will be happening. But if your session, or even at the end of the year or so, if the things don't turn offline, then we will be doing it online. How will we do it online? We will be connecting the telescope to the live camera, or like how we are doing here a live session, we will be connecting the telescope to you and you can actually experience the live session online sitting at your home. So what is the best thing about it is everybody along with you can watch it. It's not just you. When we usually go for the trips, it will only be you. But like this, when we do it, all of your family members or everybody can actually watch these live streaming sessions and you can learn a lot. And through these sessions, you can actually, once you learn about how to identify the constellations, how do we figure out the planets in the sky, all of these things, you can actually look at the sky and you can just point out these things and you can explain to anybody. Right? So that's very interesting about astronomy. And what makes you, when you learn at the end of the course, what you feel is we all are very, very tiny or very small objects in this entire universe, and the universe is so big, right? So we feel that we are big in the universe, but it's not the fact. But the fact is the universe is very big and we are very small in the universe, and whatever knowledge that we have about universe is very, very, is just equivalent to a tiny drop of water. Right? So astronomy makes you feel surprised about our presence on our planet and about our living in about our living itself. So that is an interesting course about astronomy, which comes out a lot of DIY kits and lot of activity based, and whatever activities that we give, you can do it right from your home with the help of your parents or anyone's guidance. You can actually do the labs, practical sessions with the sky, and also the kits that we give it to you, right? So that is about astronomy. Now next what we have is about the technical courses. So when I say technical courses, the things would be like electronics and robotics. So what are these electronics, right? So here we see an electronic board, right? You can see a lot of springs, you can see a lot of other things like light, the fan, there are some switches, there's some switches over here, there are resistors, boards and all of these things. So this electronics, you can say it's a simple course where you can learn the basics of all the electrical components, all the electrical circuits like the series circuit, parallel circuit, about the different components and where they have to be used, why they have to be used and how it has to be used. So this simple electronics course, it will be very helpful to understand various things about what we use in our daily life, right? We have a lot of appliances in our home. How does it work? How can we actually understand the working of these appliances that we have at our home? So this simple electronic course comes with an electronic board which has all the major electronic components which is fitted in it, and you can do about 100 plus circuits in this. You can learn, you can practice about 100 plus circuits, and during your course we will be teaching you up to 50 odd circuits where you can practice with this. Right? And this kit will come in a complete box where you will get the wires, the batteries and other necessary electrical things where you can actually plug, play and experience the simple electronics. And of course, before you get this thing, you will be using a simple software, and through the software we will be learning about the designing of simple circuits, and then we will be doing it in practical with this board, right? So that is about the electronics course. And then we have about robotics. right? When I say robots, all that comes to our mind is it's going to make our work easy, isn't it? So robots are, yes, of course, they are actually substituting our work, and it is making us more lazy, and things are becoming more mechanical, and there are a lot of technical things that you have to do. But did you ever know that making of a robot has has a little bit of complications in it? That means it's not as easy as it does our work, right? There are a lot of things that it actually goes in building a robot. So this is a simple line follower robot. You can see here it has multiple sensors, and there are a lot of wires inside, and we have here an Arduino board, right? So this robotics course, what we do actually goes into learning and understanding of building a simple line follower model. So we are not just going to learn about how we build a line follower model. Usually when we see it online, these line follower model or obstacle avoider model or any kind of robotic model, you will get the kit and you will just take it out and you will just assemble it, and then you're done. You have the model with you, just like how the simple toys that we used to get when we were young, right? But in this course, what we will be doing is, you will be learning about the complete electronics, not just what is in it, but even the basics of the electronics, like the transistors, the potentiometers, the resistors, the switches, the wires, batteries, why we have to do it in a particular way, what is the meaning of current, potential, voltage difference, all of these things as you do it. So before you build this model, we will be learning all the circuit designing in practical, and then we will be building this model. And of course, you will be learning about, since it has an Arduino here, Arduino board, we will be learning about a little bit about Arduino programming and importance of this Arduino board. So once we learn about it, once we build about it, then you get to build this complete model. You will be learning about sensors and all that, and then you build this model, and then you take this model home. So when you say this is line follower, you have to program through this Arduino board, you have to decide the program and to give the instructions such that this model will follow only the instructions that you give. So when I say Arduino programming, this Arduino will have all the instructions that you want to give. For example, if you draw a line A on the floor or on a sheet, it will follow only the line A, or it will only follow that alphabet. For that, you have to give the programming in this board, like saying that, follow this kind of a diagram when I when I turn this device on. So this is about the Arduino programming, where you will do a little bit of coding and you will be learning about how to make this model move according to your instructions. This is a line follower model, right? So in robotics, you learn about all these things. So these are the courses, that is Aeromodelling, Astronomy, Electronics and Robotics. All of these courses are customized, they have made it more interesting, they are they have all the necessary activities. So as you do the class, you will be learning, you will not just be listening to the theory, but you will also be doing it in practical. So all of the courses comes with its own kit materials. So if you register for the course, then you can actually get the kit material, and once as the class is started, you will be told or instructed when you have to do the open the kit and work on it, and then accordingly you can start it. So how do you register? How do I register, ma'am, if you are interested in any particular course? What you can do is, you can simply log into our website, that is www.younginnovators.in, and there you can actually find a Google form, right? And I am sure most of you must have received some kind of circular or information from the school also. You can contact Hira ma'am, or you can I think check out your notice boards or class teachers, or even Geeta ma'am. You can check out with them. There will be circulars with them which has all the information on the circular. Yeah. And along with this video, in the description link, you can also find the Google form there. You can just select the Google form and go through the details, enter the necessary details, and you have to do the payment according to the session. And then once you're registered, you can take up the course. And already there is one introductory class or introduction class has already happened for few students who have joined this course. So once your payment is confirmed, you will be added to our WhatsApp group, where you will get the details of when the classes will be held. Right. So I am sure most of you would have found this interesting. So to make the online learning more fun and interesting, I request all of you all to join and take up any of our courses and be a part of this fun learning activity. Right. Please visit our website, and you can also watch our YouTube channel for more details on more activity, for more of our activity things, experiments and all. And please log into the Google form and enter the details and register yourself as soon as possible, so that you can you don't have to miss the classes which has already started, right? Thank you all. Exit.